Hi, this is Mr. Travis 779, and today I got my hands on a new toy. Actually, it's not mine. It's actually a safety net because I let him borrow my Lexus, and this truck is actually parked here because it doesn't have brakes. The master cylinder, I believe, went out, but I figured I would get a good film job here because I very rarely get to film a truck like this, and to be honest, it looks really good looking. It's a 1984 Chevrolet Scottsdale. It's actually a K1500, or I believe it's a K10, I believe is what they call them. It is the Scottsdale. It's that trim level. It's got, I believe, a 6-inch lift kit from Rough Country. I think it looks really good. It was bought from a private party over in the Yakima area. Again, this is my friend's truck, and he actually has my old Lexus because this one lost brakes. It no longer has brakes. I believe the master cylinder has failed on it, but that's okay. I don't mind the trade. I get to play with the truck for a while. But as you can see, it is an 84 model year. It's got 350 Chevy. I would say mildly built. I wouldn't say it's a hot rod Chevy 350, but it's mildly built. And as you can see, it's got, I believe these are 38-inch, or I believe they're 36-inch. I want to, oh no, yeah, they're 37-inch tall tires. And as you can see, if we look down here, you got the exhaust system, and the lift kit is actually a relatively good lift kit. I believe it's by Rough Country, and I believe it's a 6-inch. I think it's a 6-inch. Could be mistaken, but I believe it's either a 6 or an 8. I believe this is a 6 though, and as you can see, there's no blocks. It's all springs, so it was a pretty expensive lift kit at the time. Of course, Freightliner mats in the back of it. That's a legal thing. 3/4 ton axles, of course. Even though it is badged as a half ton, it's actually a 3/4 ton drivetrain. But tires like this, you have to. And of course, 84 model years don't have the all-wheel drive transfer case. I believe Chevrolet dropped that option, or made it an option. I think they dropped it in the 84 model year. And as you can see in the front, it's built pretty good. I mean, it's tough. It's definitely built good. The lift kit that was used was a pretty good lift kit. Of course, you can tell it's an 84 model because of the front. The front being the way it is. This is actually an optioned up truck. It does have power windows, power door locks, AC and cruise control. Of course, the cruise control and the air conditioner do not work. The cruise control is not hooked up, and of course the air conditioner. All the stuff is there for the AC. I think it was working at one time, but of course, it being an R12 unit, it got old, and I think it was rebuilt at one time, but now it is no longer functional. And as you can see, it's blue inside. It was repainted, and actually you can see here the paint job was not a bad paint job. I think they actually did a pretty good job at it. I mean, the party he bought this from actually didn't do half a bad a job. I mean, they even took the time to paint inside and clean up all inside. So they did a good job. I mean, the paint's good, and as you can see how they ran it, they taped it and masked it, and they painted inside the doors. So it was a better done job at one time. I think it's an older done job. I don't think it's a newer job. An off-road truck like this, you don't, I mean, it's kind of that way. Looks like it's probably got stock carpeting in it, I don't know, I mean. And then of course it's got the drivetrain, the transfer case. This actually does have the 700R4 trans. Of course, being an 84 model, the Chevrolet dropped the 350 and the 400 and they went with the 700R4. But I think in 84, the 700R4 was optional. Not all trucks had that. I believe by the mid-80s, the 700R4 was more commonly used. But, so I'm not 100% sure on that one. I know it's not, I know there's no modulator on it or anything like that, but this one actually has a shift kit in it, and actually it's a rough shift kit. This truck shifts hard. It seems to shift through all its gears, but it shifts hard. I don't know if that's a shifting, if that's the shift kit or the trans. The private party he bought it from actually did show a receipt that the transmission was rebuilt, so maybe it's just a bad rebuild job. But it seems to function, so we're just going to leave it alone. And of course, standard Chevrolet gauges, Chevrolet stuff. This is actually kind of rare. I don't know if this has been replaced or not. You can see it's a 6-digit speedometer for the mileage. It shows 131,686 miles. I didn't think in 84 they did 6. I know the Japanese had it. I know the imports had it to some degree, but I didn't think Detroit did that. Because our 86 Ford doesn't have that. And of course, my 77 doesn't have that either. And I was kind of surprised to see that. I didn't think they did a 6-digit thing, but I could be wrong. I mean, but I didn't think they did 6 on those. But I could be wrong. Of course, power windows, and actually it's kind of interesting. They got dual powers there and dual powers here in one main. Well, I guess the one over there is for the power door locks and the windows. This one here is for the power door locks and the windows. And as you can see, they do function, and the power windows do function. Of course, the cruise controls, like I said, has been disconnected, and the AC doesn't work. But to be honest, I think if you do I'll show you, if you do a retrofit kit, you probably could get the AC to work again. Excuse me here. I'm gonna get the hood open. This is, of course, this is your typical Chevrolet motor. Like I said, it's got headers. It's got all Holley stuff on it. I don't know if the intake's a Holley. I think the intake's just a standard Chevrolet. Of course, it's got the EH or IHHI, or it's got the traditional, electronic ignition system. The HIE, I think is what they call it. Excuse me if I'm wrong on that. I think I know what it's called. I know what it's called. I can't pronounce it. But yeah, it's got the good electronic ignition, and of course it's got headers and your typical Chevy. And see, you can see here the air conditioner stuff has all been, they kept it all on. Usually when people build these trucks here in the Northwest, they take all that stuff off, but this one was left on, so I believe it was functional at one time, and it just ran low on Freon. I bet you if I charge it, it will function again. Of course, there's your headers, and this is the plastic master cylinder. Like I said, it doesn't have brake pressure. There's no brake pressure or anything like that on it. I believe the master cylinder is what's failed. It doesn't appear to have any leaks, as I can tell, but there is no pressure. It just loses it. So I think one of the valves quit working for pressure. So the one side's functioning and the other side's not. I think that's what's wrong there. Because the pedal still does, it's got some pedal to it, but it's nowhere near enough to stop it. I mean, you're going down the highway at 40, you have to put full brake pressure on to get it to stop, and even then it just coasts to a stop. So it's definitely not right. It definitely will have to be replaced. I think it's a master cylinder that's gone. I think it had pretty nasty fluid in it. But other than that, that's really about it. Like I said, this isn't mine. It's just a toy. But, you know, I think it's kind of a fun little toy to have. And I like to find things and film them as best I can whenever it comes on my property. But this is Mr. Travis 779. Y'all have a good one.